Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Ben Morales, your personal financial coach. Today, I want to talk about why it's so important for you to put your money to work for you and not just leave it in the bank, like in a checking account or in a savings account, doing nothing for you, especially when you're trying to pay down debt. So, I want to go over a scenario with you today about a client that I started working with. Now, I'd say, I think it was September, October last year, and he's just made some amazing progress. So we're gonna talk about that progress that he's made, but we're also going to talk about something that recently happened that we have to change the strategy that we're going about with him to help him overcome this another hurdle that has presented himself. So um, when I met with him at the beginning, like I said, of September, thankfully he's increased his income. So through some promotions to his wife for some gain in income, some things that he can do as well as work, his income now has gone up to $6,683.46, which is fantastic. And then what I'm super excited about is that he has improved his cash flow. He has completely finished paying off all of his credit card debt. His cash flow is now $3,002. Okay. He has lowered his expenses all the way down to $2,482. This customer, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, had his money just in the bank, really not serving him. He was also making payments toward other obligations that really, when you're trying to pay down debt, you have to focus on the debt and focus on the debt alone. Once the debt is done, then you can do things like increase your savings, increase your giving, and things like that. So we were able to streamline this, right, and get more focused on paying around the debt. So he's done a fantastic job. The only two debt payments that he has right now is the mortgage and then $50 toward a school loan that soon those will be out of the way as well. But we need to tackle this important issue right now. He has two litigation debts right now that he has to take care of. One at 10,210, and that, unfortunately, if we don't start to tackle that, that's continuing to go up. When we started, it was a little north of 10,000. Now it's 10,210, and then he has another 9,000 that he's currently working with a law firm on mitigation as well. The main problem is that this 10,000, he just got a garnishment letter at work. We don't want that, right? What happens when you get a garnishment letter? They're already starting the process. They're verifying with your employer how much money you make so that they can start the process of taking money out of your paycheck. That's just one part of it, right? Obviously, with this cash flow, that's enough to support that garnishment. He probably wouldn't feel it all that much. The problem is that once the garnishment starts, it becomes a public record on the credit report and it can stay there up to 7 years. We don't want that because if that were to happen, then he'd have a harder time getting approved for a home equity line of credit, which is ultimately that's the goal that we want to get into, because with the home equity line of credit, we can then start tackling his mortgage debt and be finished with that very quickly. So what are we going to do? Well, through having some conversations with him, we discovered some other things as well. Among those things were that he did put away some money in a savings account, right? And then he had a home project account that he didn't tell me about that he had, right? And that's okay, but sometimes, you got to be transparent because we're trying to focus on a goal here of eliminating the debt, and we're trying as much as we can from stopping that garnishment from becoming a public record. So anyhow, we discovered we have $8,000 now in savings. So we need to move very quickly. We need to move very quickly so that we can pay off that garnishment of 10,210. It doesn't increase. And so that's what this video is going to show right now. So let's start off where we're at. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on only the $10,210, which is what is in the process of being garnished. And again, the goal is so that it does not get into a public record status. So we're going to put both bills together, but we're going to break them down. So both of them together is 19,210. Now we're taking the 6,000 and the 2,000 from the savings because Again, if that money is sitting in account, it's not serving him. The only thing it's doing is serving the bank because they're lending that $8,000 out. So lend it to yourself, right? So 8,000 is immediately going to help deduct from that $10,210. And then we talked about what did he do in the process of time. He increased his cash flow to 3,002. So we're also going to deduct 3,002 because we know at the end of the month he's going to have at least $3,200 of what? Cash flow, right? So this is savings, and the second one is cash flow. What else can we do? Well, this is the nice thing. Over here, I have listed all his expenses, right? He has now a credit card with a limit of $9,000. Okay. All these expenses listed here, gas bill, light bill, water, garbage, internet, all the expenses, car insurance, groceries, restaurants, giving, and the law firm totals $2,306.18. So that is going to go back to him as well, $2,306.18, right? So instead of what he was doing, he would get paid, he would leave his money in his checking account, and then he would start dispersing to take care of all of these bills throughout the month. Well, now he is going to take advantage. This money is going to go back toward paying down the debt that he owed. Okay. And what that means is that he will have time to pay this $2,306.18. He'll be able to pay this off the following month, because when you use a credit card to run your expenses through, you are going to have 30 days from the beginning to the end or the closing of the statement, and then you are going to get a grace period to pay the balance off. For his credit card, I looked into it, and for his credit card, he has 22 days. So if we look at the 30 days in his statement, right, and the 22 days of grace period, he has 52 days to make a payment to his credit card. So almost a month and 3 weeks, you could say, before that. So let's go back. How is this impacting him? We're going to run these expenses through the credit card. Now let's look at what happened. You have $8,000 from the savings, $3,002 in cash flow at the end of the month. Guess what happens to this garnishment account? See you later. No longer there. No longer there. That's absolutely amazing. Not only that, we have an additional $2,306.18 of cash flow that is going to go toward what? Well, that's going to go now toward tackling the $9,000. That's absolutely amazing. What does that look like? When we do the math, we're going to see that at the end of the first month, look at my notes over here. In month one, this is what is owed, $5,901.82. That's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, what's going to happen is there's the end of month one. We're going to start the process again in month number two. Okay. So he's already made some major ground just in one particular month. Now, we're going to continue the same movement right along, rinse and repeat, like I always say. In month number two, what's going to happen? He is going to have the exact same cash flow, which is the $3,002 and the $2,306.18 that he's running expenses through. That total is going to be $5,306.18. So what happens with that? Now that brings the balance of the debt that he owes to $595.64 in a matter of 2 months. However, he's got to make that credit card payment now, right? Because that payment of $2,306.18, which is his expenses, that's due. So you got to pay that, right? There's no way around it. But the nice thing is with credit, right? We'll go back to the 52 days. You're going to have 30 days to use it right here. Then you're going to have another 22 days for his credit cards. Some credit cards have 21. My credit card personally has 24. But you have grace period, meaning that if you pay the entire balance of the credit card off in full, then you don't get charged interest, okay? So let's suppose he did that. Well, let's make the calculation. His balance on the loan now is $594, $95.64. He has to pay $2,306 in expenses now to the credit card company, right? Expenses that he would have paid anyway. And now it brings his total to $2,901.83. Okay, so this is absolutely amazing, because what happens now, we know that he has sufficient cash flow. He has sufficient cash flow to pay this off. So here is the beginning of month number 2. What does he do at the beginning of month number 2? He has completely and totally eliminated $19,210 of debt. Why? Because he repositioned his money. He put his cash flow to work for him. That's the key when it comes to Velocity Banking. You must take your cash flow and put it to work for you. Please do not leave it inside a checking account or a savings account when you are trying to pay off debt. Okay? It's like shooting yourself in the foot. You're trying to do too many things. So focus on one thing, and that's eliminating debt. So we see after 2 months, he's eliminating debt. Right on month number 3, we can add back the $2,306.18 in expenses, which he will have more than enough, always enough moving forward to save or to pay off with the $3,002. Now, some might ask, well, now he doesn't have any savings. Well, he will. He will, because he can take a portion of this cash flow every single month, whatever he liked, and he can just continue to build that savings right back up. More importantly than that, what it's going to do is going to save him from getting a public record on his credit report, and that appearing on his credit report for 7 years. That would definitely put a big major stump inside the plan of him getting a home equity line of credit and then eliminating his mortgage debt, which is one of his goals from the beginning. Now, what can he do from this point on? He just finished with the loans, and we know that technically, right, he's making this last payment after month number 2. He's following the same cycle. Well, you could add back the credit card debt. That's enough, basically, or the credit card expenses, and he'll have funds available from his cash flow to pay that. But right after that, after month number 3, he can then start tackling what? The other $1,688 that he would owe. It'll be less at that point, right? But to the student loan, now he's wiped out this debt, the first one. He's wiped out $9,000. Then month number 3, let's say month number 4, he can start wiping down the $1,688 that he owes for the student loan. What that would happen then? What would happen to his cash flow then? We would add another $50 because now he doesn't have to make this payment. This goes back down to $1,149, meaning that that's his only debt, and his income, or rather his cash flow, now goes up to $3,052. Remember, because every time your expenses go down, your cash flow goes up. So win, win, win all the way around for him. So I hope this video makes a lot of sense. It's very, very easy. It's just where you're putting your cash flow first. I know there's probably an opinion out there that says that Velocity Banking is difficult, or be careful about Velocity Banking because you can hurt yourself. All it takes is reposition your money. Change one thing. Do not leave your money in your savings or in your checking account, and particularly when you are trying to use it to speed up the process of paying debt. We saw how just in 2 months we liquidated. I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually true, because we're putting money to work for you instead of just leaving it there doing nothing. We see the results of this, so I'm super, super excited to see in the next couple of months how this has worked out for him. And please, if you have any comments, please put them down below. Definitely continue to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'd love to share content like this and help make a positive impact in your life. So on to the next video. Thanks for watching today. God bless.